Welcome to the Soulful Sisters Podcast. Happy weekend.
Happy weekend, everyone. We're back.
We're back. Well, we said we're back and then we just disappeared. And then now we're actually back. We're committed.
We're
We are
committed. We're
committed.
going to try and be more consistent, but life does happen.
Yeah. Well, I ended up coming to Kelowna, I think the week after we had launched our podcast. And so I think the idea when I was there was to record a podcast together while I was there, but there was just, I felt like there was so much going on and yet
It
nothing
was.
at all. There was a lot
And
going
you
on.
know what? We were talking all day, every day. So, unless we want to do a documentary, but you're doing that already.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm already in the process of that. But yeah, we do talk every day. And this past week, okay, before we dive into this past week, because we haven't talked as much as we normally do. And then when you would call me, I'm like, I'm not talking to you about anything because we have to save it for the podcast. But we also just want to thank the new subscribers and those who have
Yes.
joined the YouTube platform or wherever Spotify, YouTube.
Yes. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. And yeah, thank you. Changed some lives here.
All right. My sister and I were just talking about my blouse because I look like I'm going to the courthouse to to defend my client. Is if you can't see, if you're not watching, you have to watch. It's just a silk blouse. I was thinking about going to
The
church.
silk blouse, but we both managed to wear collared shirts, which was quite interesting. Mine's
I
black.
didn't know. Is yours collared? I can't see the collar. Okay. Well, I also don't have my glasses on, so I can't see shit over here. Anyways, okay, what are we going to talk about? So much. Yeah, I guess this past week, things have just been I think wild for me over here. Where to even begin? Should I begin with the dick pic that I got?
Yeah. Let's start with the dick pics, guys.
Well, no,
Let's let's
no, now
start with
before you guys get
that.
excited,
Just to PSA for all the men out there, no woman wants to see your dick in a pic.
no, no, never. No, thanks. Gross. No, I'm good. I don't think any woman wants to see a dick pic from their brother. Yeah, I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. I know, but I think that there are people, if you're new here, welcome. But if you know us, you probably know that we have a interesting family dynamic, family system. We have siblings that have in the past struggled and still currently struggle with addiction and mental health issues and still do. So it's something, look, it's something that I have to chuckle about because what's the alternative? I'm not going to cry about it. Um,
Well, yeah, and
I'm
I
a,
think I got one last year or the year before, and then our other sister, I think she got one too. I think we all the sisters got one at some
yeah,
point.
I mean, we get it, bro. It's big. Like, if you don't know what to say. So he sent it and then said, "Is this Kristina?" And then like a different last name, I'm assuming. And I said, "Nope, this is your sister, and this is very awkward." And then he didn't really reply. So, I don't, I don't think he's looking for validation from any of us. But if he were to, let's get, wow,
Yeah,
wow,
I don't know. I don't even
good
know
for
what to
you.
say to that anymore.
Well,
It's
listen,
just ox and
I
weird
did.
and really unhealthy.
Well, I think it
Like
is as
really
well. But again,
unstable.
well, yeah, so likely he is not in a good place right now. That's probably what's happening. But that's okay. When he is, he'll reach out. I mean, at some point he'll come around and be like, "Oh, that was super awkward. So sorry." But I mean, and then that'll just be the end of that. I have told a few friends, like close friends, and it just kind of came out because I was talking to one of my BFFs about other stuff. And then when this happened, I was like, "Oh, and by the way," and he was dying. He's like, "What the fuck is your life?" Like, honestly. And like I said, you just have to laugh about it because it just is, it is what it
What
is.
else can you do?
What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Yeah, so, okay, so I feel like that was, like, the start to my week. I'm like, "All right, here we go.
Yeah, so
Saddle
we
up."
haven't really talked this week. So I want to hear all the stuff And I haven't really talked about my, my other situation from last week's podcast, which maybe I'll just touch on now.
Yeah. Okay,
Done.
well, let's dive into that. And
Hold
that
on.
was I feel like that was now I'm remembering that was our last podcast. We just kind of like touched on entrepreneurship and being a boss, being an owner, that kind of thing. This was the week where a lot of my students went back to school. So I had to hire new staff. I hired 3 new people on Tuesday. It was the long weekend, so Tuesday rolled around and I had 4 interviews set up, and I was like, "Hired, hired, hired." And then midweek, I had one of my locations/franchisees, close their business here in the city. So there are 6 locations, 6 KB and Co locations, and now there are 5. And this was something that we'll just say it was a long time coming. I think it's something that had to happen. I was in a position working towards shutting them down, like working towards what that looked like. And so it's funny how, I knew that just it wasn't a right fit. And I have been thinking a lot about it. You and I have talked before about being in our action era. And I kind of going through the things that have been making me uncomfortable for the past, I hate to say it, but couple of years in this particular case. And I just was, okay, enough is enough. So I was looking at my options and then, kind of putting it out there. And then I didn't have to do anything else because they had just officially chose to walk away. I feel really bad. Truly, I do. I feel bad for the franchisees that couldn't make a go of it there.
But the quality wasn't there. They were almost bruising your brand. So, you know,
Yeah,
ask and you shall receive because
yeah.
that's
They Yeah, you're right. There were a number of hiccups, and one of the biggest challenges was that that store just wasn't owner operated. And so that, like any business, if you're not hands-on and you're not there and essentially what feels like you don't care, then your business is going to suffer. And I just want to say, like, particularly in my industry and in brick and mortar, like, it's just, you have to be there because it's such a niche concept. So if you're not there, you're not watching costs, you're not building on customer rapport, getting to know your customers, that sort of thing. If you're not there doing that, your business is going to suffer. And that's what had been happening. And also, by you not being there, then you have God knows who just running it and doing whatever they want and making things incorrectly. And you're right, became more of you're hurting the brand and doing the brand a disservice. And it needs to stop. And so these were conversations that I had been having, and I think we all just knew, like, their time was running out. I'll just say, like, old me might have felt really triggered, maybe would have been a hit to my ego, would
like
have made me feel,
rejected.
yeah, I would have felt
Yeah.
rejected and like a failure. I for
Yeah.
sure would have felt like, frick, I fucking failed again. And I am proud and happy to say that those feelings haven't come up for me with regards to, like, that struggle. I feel like it's the right decision. It's for the betterment of the business and for everybody that is involved in the brand currently and
Yeah.
continues to be. And I really see it as a win. And so, as far as, and there are no liabilities on my end, which is, you always want to be careful about, right? I think it would be a different situation if I had legal implications to that store closing, because I have
Yeah.
none. It just, like, obviously it makes things a lot easier for me. But just from a ego standpoint, like, and I think too, like it crossed my mind for sure, like, what are people gonna think? But then I just think, who fucking cares? I'm
Well,
sorry, but,
yeah,
like,
like
who fucking cares?
who
I
gives
I
a
know
flying fuck
I know what
anymore?
I think. I know what I think. My thoughts are the only thoughts that matter. So I just, whatever. It is what it is. And so yeah,
Well,
that
and
was,
you're okay about it, and it's actually better for you. It's
yeah,
better.
yeah,
It's less headache, quality control is under control.
yeah,
See you later, man. See
yeah.
ya.
I think you're right, because the idea of it is, like, it's a positive thing. There's no need to, like, be sadsies about it, you know?
Yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
I will say the only thing that bums me out a little bit, but you reap what you sow, I think. It bums me out that the franchise partners are, that were involved they've got a long road ahead of them in terms of, and I've been there, right? I've closed a location and I know what that looks like from a obligation standpoint to banks and leases and that sort of thing. I did have a conversation with them and I said, if there's anything that I can help you with, like through that process, by all means, like just advice or anything. But it is a scary process, and so I think that's really like I just have compassion for what they have to go through. At the same time, you reap what you sow, right? Like this it was an
Yeah. So
that
one
was
thing
my
off your plate.
yeah yeah, and onwards and upwards, you know.
Yeah, I think that's the best mindset, you know?
Oh, no, thank you so much. I'm just talking about positivity. Positivity. Listen, I will say we're not about this toxic positivity bullshit,
Positivity.
but I feel like I'm being truthful in saying like it didn't affect me in ways that I think it would have affected me before. And I don't know if it's this protocol, which has been a combination of microdosing various things and a lot of this like work that I'm doing. I might say mostly contributed to that. I don't know, or just that I know it's for the greater good. And it's a positive thing. We're just
Yes.
moving forward. I don't know. I had a really good meditation the other day that was like a manifestation, visualization meditation. And I don't know, since that moment,
Did you? That's so good. Guys, I don't meditate as much as I would like to, and I look up to my sister for being able to implement those habits in her life. I do not do that. And when she talks about it, I'm just, really?
I,
Really?
yeah, I was just in my zen, right? I'm just having a zen moment. So,
Oh,
well, I
lucky
do
you.
think it actually works. I was, just saying, it
Maybe I should
actually,
try it.
yeah, well, maybe you definitely need to for sure. There are also, like, different forms of meditation, like, yours could be I mean, no, you sit outside, I sometimes catch you just drifting off into I don't even know what the hell you're staring at when I'm, like, inside and I'll look out and see what you're doing, you're, like, just staring.
About my happiness and sadness, that I like them both. They both make me happy. They both make me sad. Like I find joy in having both emotions at the same time. I don't know. Maybe that's my meditation where I just sit and reflect and wish. And maybe you're right. You're probably right.
There are
She's
lots of things
always right.
I don't know, you've been since your sobriety, you've been right about a few things or 2. There was a time where do you remember there was a time where I really needed you to get fired up about something? And I was like, "This is, like, the only time ever that I will say that I wish you were, like, a raging alcoholic." You weren't raging, but, like, you were a very emotional drinker, and you would have said your piece about something that I was going through
Yes. Yes.
to
When I was
somebody
a
else.
drinker, yeah, like I'm a protector. So if anyone's fucking with my sister, my daughter, my wife, anyone that I love, I'm going to step in and they're going to get a piece of my mind. But since sobriety and healing and like becoming aware, you learn that that's not the way to do things. So, but let me tell you, there's been moments where I actually wrote out the email to
Mm,
send. I just haven't
yeah,
sent it.
yeah.
But if I was drunk, I'll tell you right now, that would have been sent a long time ago.
Yeah. No, for sure. That like I said, that is the only time where I'm like, I really need somebody to fight my battles for me, and you're the one that's gonna fight the battle for me. You definitely need a drink or 2, and it's the only time that I'm like, "You sure you don't want a little shot?" Me just, like, putting alcohol in your coffee is, "Hey, you wanna get fired up?"
Yeah. Hey, you know who did this to me? I'll be like, who? I'll be like,
Yeah.
fuck them. Let me talk to them. Get out of the way.
Seriously.
Don't you mess with my little sister.
Right? I know, I always got a big sis to protect me. Okay, so tell
Yes.
me about your week. I mean, I just really that's been my week. It's just been very busy but I've been in pretty good spirits despite, I don't know, just what's going on. I feel like this is a new path forward, and so I'm here
Yeah,
for it. So how about
for
you? I know
sure.
you were a bit of a struggle bus.
Struggle bus. I know. Beginning of the week was really tough. I was really in a lot of emotions. I would wake up and have my coffee and I just wanted to go back to bed. It's a really mind fuck when you have to get out of your head. I think I tend to live in there a lot because I don't go out much. I don't have really much of a community here. So it's a lot of living in your head. So and also
Okay, well,
writing
what
this book
what
is like it's intense.
yeah, I can imagine it's probably bringing up I mean, if you're having to write about specific experiences that others can relate to, you're well, I mean, you're digging up and if you're having to write out examples of those
Yeah,
experiences
like I
and you're
got to
just
share the story and the
yeah.
lesson is what I'm doing, trying to create like reflective, life-changing moments. And based on my story, what I've been through, it's hard. It's a healing process as well. Like I think it's healing me as I go too, but it's definitely a lot of in your head, managing those emotions. Once again, you thought you are over it and you're not, and or you were a little bit, or you dealt with it differently. It's definitely helping me grow as a person. I'm loving it and hating it at the same time. But it's yeah, it's the beginning of the week was tough
Mm,
also with the mediation thing. That took a lot out of me emotionally and just, feeling taken advantage of and hurt, mostly hurt. And so, we'll have to deal with that at a later date and that's fine. Just and managing those thoughts and going back and forth in my mind, trying
mhm,
to let it go. And it's not personal, although it is personal in a way, but it's not. That
yeah.
was pretty much my week, but I'm feeling way better even today. And I think this week's it's going to be great.
Fabtastic. Well, just seize it. Just grab it. It's yours. It's
Seize
yours
the
to own. It's
day.
yours to
Do you like
have. Oh,
my
look,
eyebrows? Do you like my eyebrows?
I don't have my glasses on, so I'm a blur right now.
I feel a little
What did
spocky
you
today as I'm looking at myself. I'm like, oh, probably because I didn't have my glasses on.
what did you do with your eyebrows?
They're just a little pointier.
No, I can't see that for sure. But hey, I did buy the mirror that you a very similar one. I think mine's better. No offense. I think you said it was better.
Yours is better for sure. It
Thanks.
is way better. It looks better.
Well, it is better because I've had your mirror, right? For look, because if I can do anything better than my sister right now, just kidding. If I can have something that's
Always
better,
been the case.
as if look, I
Yeah, you're
never liked
always
your
like, I'm
style.
better.
As
I
if.
did that too, but better.
See, yeah, I don't wear pointy shoes. No thanks.
That's a story in itself.
Listen,
They're
you
back.
first had the mirror, the pointy shoes. Yes.
Yes, the pointy shoes are back.
I have a pair or 2. But, I promise I need to dress like a girl. I need to dress like a woman. I feel like even, like, putting this blouse on, I felt like, "Oh, right, if I'm going to church, I'm putting on a blouse." And I I really I'm such a, like, jeans and, like, runners, sneaker, flat shoe, like, I really wanna dress up more.
Yeah.
I really should. Like, wear dresses more and be more girly.
Yeah.
Wear cute shoes. Yeah.
Well, I
Well,
can help you
anyways,
with that.
it's just so much more comfortable in
True. But
jeans and a
you
t-shirt,
gotta
you know?
break in the pointy shoes, and that's the thing is with your runners and stuff, you don't have
Mm,
to really break them in because 'cause they're immediately comfortable, so that's where you go. But if you
yeah,
break in a good
yeah,
clip-clop shoe, then
yeah.
you'll wear it
Then
more often.
yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Okay, I was talking about the mirror, but
Right.
okay,
Oh,
so the
yeah,
mirror,
that's the mirror.
I first saw it at your place and then, I ended up, like, just going on Amazon and finding one, but it is a game changer. And then so I had posted the other day on Instagram because I had was like plucking my eyebrows and it's just like it's the best. And then you start going over your whole face. Like you're like, "Oh, what is it? What do you got over here? What is this?" I actually did find a long white hair somewhere on my cheek, which I didn't talk about, but it was this big, long, wise white hair. But I had you can get all your gray eyebrows, which gray hairs in your eyebrow, which I have. And I actually tabbed, no joke, I had a little V goatee. Like, I actually had a soul patch,
No.
like the
And
tiniest one
gray
right
hairs in
here.
your eyebrows? Like, how many
So
gray hairs are in your eyebrows?
I had 2 in one and 1 in the other, like, and they
Oh my
always grow
gosh.
right here. But, I mean, okay,
I don't.
I knew that she was
1.
going there with that, so let me just say that I also have, like, hardly any gray hair in my actual hair. Thank you.
That's where she's got me. Yeah, I have lots.
Thank you. Also, do your pubic hairs get gray? Do
Oh,
they?
I haven't looked. I haven't looked. Have you looked? Have
I
you looked to
mean,
see if there's any grays in there? I don't know.
well, I
I
don't have
feel
any
like I'm
hair
scared
because
to look.
I'm curious. It probably does go gray. No? I don't know. There's gonna be
I
a
feel like
listener
it
on
does,
here,
just like all the
other hair.
hairs on your body. Well, your eyelashes don't go gray.
Right,
So
okay, and
maybe
what about your armpit hair? Well, if you look at, like, a man, I feel like men have had gray. It gets a little gray in there, no? Or maybe not.
I don't know. I don't look
Hmm.
at men's armpit hair.
Well, next time you're on the beach, if you wouldn't mind. Hey, I feel like I've seen gray armpits because, like, armpit hair, because I have seen, like, a man with, like, a gray chest, like, gray and black.
Right.
Like,
Right.
so I feel like the hairs are gonna be the same, but I don't know if, like, a matte wiener has gray hair around it, but, like, I'm curious. Okay, what's the shift? Like, how did you turn around? Because I just wanna say, like, I have been through a situation with staff and monies, and it was a honest mistake, and it ended up being that I had to owe all this money, and I know that sounds super cryptic, guys, but it's like, I feel like it's a story, so I'll just, like, say that I've been through the situation, and it's just so, like, crippling
It is.
when it comes to, anything that is, like, legal. It's so crippling.
Yeah.
it's, like, paralyzes you. So how do you get yourself out of I'll share some of the things that have worked for me, but I'm curious how you were able to kinda turn around.
I stopped letting it consume my mind so much. I'm hoping, well, it is. It's a difference in perspective and it's a difference in what they think they're entitled to and what I think they're entitled to. And so, I just am at the point to, like, as much as it hurt me when it all began, this was like before I got sober when this all started. So it's been 2.5
Mhm.
years and it's probably going to be another year or so before it gets resolved. And I just have to remember that the truth will come out. Whether like and if it doesn't go in my favor, then that's okay. If it's judged on that maybe I was negligent or something, then I'll own that. But as far as I feel like my perspective is different than that. But if a judge comes and says, you made a mistake, I would rather hear that from someone in that position than that mediation of going back and forth and like arguing on what the entitlement is, if that
Right.
makes sense. So that
Okay,
actually brought me some peace.
just say, what was it that, like, okay, good.
Yeah, let's put it in front of a judge and hear both sides and let's see what happens. And that's kind of where I'm at and I'm okay with that and whatever that outcome may be. So,
Well, and
and I
that's
think that's what really shifted my perspective and how I felt about it.
yeah, that's sort of you're doing what you can do and doing what you can control. Because there are elements of, like, why is it escaping me? Like, don't worry about the things you can't control.
Yeah.
And there's, like, that, like, truly is, like, everything and makes so much sense, but then there are well, sometimes we think we can control a situation and we can't. But
Yeah.
there
But
are,
that's where you get all crazy in your head
yeah.
because you think you
Yeah.
can control it and you get like defensive or whatever and you're
Mhm.
just like that's not right. But maybe you're missing something, missing your part of the puzzle or whatever that might be. But that's where I feel you can make yourself crazy doing that.
Mhm. Oh, for sure. I think you have to truly, like, leave it to God, like, do what you can, to obviously not be aloof about it, not be not at all delusional about it. There's like doing your part and then, okay, now I'm leaving this to the higher powers and what will be will be. There's so much power in that. It's very hard to do. Very hard to do for
It's
sure.
very and, like, the crazy thoughts that go through your mind, and then I was reading The Untethered Soul because my sister recommended it. A few years ago, I tried to pick it up, and it made no freaking sense. I pick it up today, and, like, it's just like, boom, 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 it's all landing, so practicing some lessons from that book of the thought after the thought, because you can't control your 100 thoughts you have in a day, but you can control the thought after the thought. So, if I'm like, oh, I'm such a loser, that's your automatic thought comes in your head, or they're going to take me for everything I am. I have. But then you could just simply say to yourself, no, leave it to God, or it's okay, you're safe. Like it's literally such a huge shift if you can manage
Your thought.
those thoughts. And I
Yeah.
know it's hard to do. Like I'm almost 3 years in sobriety and I'm just starting to observe and get a little control over that.
Look,
Unless you're a monk, I don't think you have any.
I've spoken to monks and I've spoken to a lama who is it's not necessarily like controlling the thought, I think. Because the thought, well, there is no control. Like the thoughts come up. So I think it's your idea of having to control the thought that comes up that makes you crazy, that creates this whole like the resistance and the suffering is in you trying to control the thought, right?
This is
I
true,
think,
right. It's the thought, the
right. So
action,
I think it's like,
reaction, emotion.
yeah, like you're gonna have the thoughts no matter what. So like it's not like I just want to just go through my day without thinking. Could you imagine not thinking? Well, that's like a whole other
I would love
like I
that.
don't even
Just a little blank space in the
oh my
forest.
gosh, just nothing. But it's true. In the Untethered Soul, I think it was towards the end, or maybe in the beginning. I can't remember. Maybe it was in the beginning, but it talks about how we'll go for a walk. The thoughts are always there. We go for a walk and we have to label everything. It's like, oh, look at that tree. It's so beautiful. And like we're just by ourselves in nature and we don't need to keep focus. It's I forget the term that he used or how he explained it, but it's like you grabbing onto that thought. Like the thought that you had about the tree that's super green, that's just a thought. It's nice, but let
Hi,
it go.
Maisie.
Hi, Maisie. But then let it go, right? It's like you attach to the thought by going, wow,
Yeah.
that tree is green and so pretty. I mean, try not doing that. It's very, very hard. I find that so look, just want to say for anybody looking for some insight around this whole like awareness and thought, I would hands down recommend The Untethered Soul. And I'm currently reading Living Untethered, which is a really awesome read. That's sort of like the second book to The Untethered Soul. Anyway, great read. But I will say when it comes to thoughts, because I still have them and like negative ones, that ones that will feel as though I'm spiraling, I have been thinking a few things. Number one, I think why, like when it comes to things that thoughts that I feel like I could cry over, they're
Mhm.
usually thoughts about the future that I feel like I want to cry over.
Yeah,
And
you also tend to try and make sense of it. What's the meaning behind it all? She wants to see the numbers align, like 555. Oh, that means that this thought is connected to that, and now I understand. Well,
look,
in trying to manage that, that's the
I
outcome, right?
definitely would prefer some answers. Okay, sorry. Fuck, man. I no, I need what I call reconciliation. I need no, what is that called? Oh yeah, I will attach
Makes
like
sense.
they need to and it only ever really in hindsight usually does. So maybe well, that's another see, okay, I'm just realizing this. If things typically almost always in hindsight make sense, then let's just trust that they will one day,
Makes sense later.
right? Well, it makes sense later. And so there's no point in trying to like, make sense of it in that moment. It'll make sense for me later. Look, I want to share how I was crying over something that I thought was going to happen. And it was just a future thing. This was a couple months ago. I'm like, I just know such and such and such. And this is something that's close to my heart. I really felt like this certain thing was going to play out in this way. And everybody around me was like, well, we don't know for sure. Like, you don't know for sure. So
Yeah.
just, and I would cry about it and I would
Yeah.
I would feel the pain as if it already happened. And so it was really intense and it would deepen. I would cry about it and cry about it. And I wasted a lot of Sundays because Sunday is sort of like my, family chill day. And I just wasted so many Sundays being super emo and sad and crying until my eyes were red and puffy. And then fast forward a couple months and what I had said was going to happen did happen. And then I cried and grieved and really cried. And
So
then
you
I
went
was,
twice.
well, I went through it actually probably like 30 times. So then I was mad at myself. Get this. I'm not fucking complicated. I don't know. Then I'm like, you idiot for crying 30 times. The intensity was the same. It
Yeah.
was the exact same. And then I was
Yeah.
like, holy frick, you wasted so much time crying about something that was going to happen anyways. Actually, the untethered soul says we worry about things that 90% of the time don't happen. When I read that, I was like, lies, lies. It does happen. Some things do actually happen the way you say it. Maybe I manifested it. I don't know. But
What I think you're
I,
saying is like maybe you did manifest it. No, you didn't, because I know the details, and that was textbook. It's a textbook case that was going to happen.
well, if there was a chance, it may not have been the case. But
Yeah,
look,
like a chance, like a 14% chance.
a
But
14's better. It wasn't like a 1%. There was a chance.
well, some would say one. I don't know.
Yeah, some will do it. I was for sure like there's a 1% chance. So basically, what I'm saying and my point is that it was when that happened, when I recovered from it actually happening, when I was sad for about 2 days, I grieved it for sure. And then afterwards, I thought back to the many Sundays that I didn't leave the house or I like wasn't showing up for Aaliyah and for those around me because I was so depressed about something that hadn't even happened yet, may not have happened, did happen. But
Yeah.
it
But
made me think
on either
about,
side, on either side of the coin, you could have saved yourself a whole lot of mental anguish and heartache had you
yeah,
just waited for the
look,
outcome to be the outcome.
I know for sure I wasn't going to grieve it any differently. It wasn't gonna be, and so I do think I just wasted a lot of time crying and being, like, it took a lot of time away from, like I said, showing up in who I am today. So that's what, and I am going through a legal battle with the landlord, I'm just gonna say that, for the location that I had in Kelowna. And we don't know what the outcome is gonna be, but it's very taxing. Obviously, you like, your thoughts snowball and you're like, "Oh, what's gonna happen?" and all these things. I think grieve it when it happens. If it happened, like,
Yeah.
just don't think about it right now. Don't lose sleep. Like, show up in the best way that you can be today, right now, right? Because this very moment is all we have right now. So, like, how
That's
can I?
true, and that's kinda I feel like the lesson maybe of the last couple of weeks is you can't control the outcome of anything. The outcome's gonna be what the outcome's gonna be. Worst case scenario, best case scenario, whatever you wanna play in your mind, but it hasn't happened yet. So why are we getting all riled up over something that hasn't even happened yet? That's just
Because that's what we
that's
do.
crazy making. I know, like,
It's stinking.
how many years have we spent doing that? Even with each other as sisters, like, assuming our intentions or behaviors or, like, it's a whole
Yeah,
mind fuckery.
yeah. It's not, no, it's okay. So I that's one thing that, hey guys, if you can learn anything from this podcast, because we're talking about just we're all over the place, but just I guess our perspective on how you can shift your thoughts. And there's a lot of this that's just set out there in general, but just not to waste time thinking about something that hasn't happened yet or the future. Trust us when we say it really is a waste of time. Another thing that I find helpful for me is I can see now, like, when thoughts come up and things that you might want to. So I see it as an Untethered Soul talks a little bit about this. I think they reference the sky and the clouds, or it's either like the sea and the ocean and the waves. I've heard the reference about the ocean a lot of times, but I am trying to be the observer and sit in the seat of like just being the witness to what's happening. And somebody, a lama, a very wise, I'd say old man, but he wasn't. He was young. So anyway, wise man said to me, he said, Kristina, it's your It's your resistance to the experience that you're having that's causing you the suffering and pain, not the actual
Right.
experience.
Right.
And that and when he said that, I was, "Okay, well, that's a lie," 'cause, like, the experience is causing me pain. But then when I really sat with it, and if I sit in the seat of the observer so what I do now is when things come up, I can see them kind of floating past me, say it's the cloud, then it'll be the sky. I see it happening, and what I've noticed where the pain and the suffering or, like, that the emotion and all that, like, ugh, is when I grab it. So, like,
Yeah.
I'll grab it and pull it. I'm doing a visual, so if you can't see, guys, like, I
Yeah.
pull it towards me and I just, I wanna, like, play with it and squeeze it and
Well,
I
now
don't know,
you, like, almost eat it because now you're like, "Oh, this is part of me. This is I'm attaching to it. Let's."
Yeah.
Or it's your
Yeah.
new pet.
My new
You
vet.
put a
I
leash
think
on
it
it
could
and
just be
started
it,
walking it,
honestly, and just letting it pass by me. I'm like, "Come here.
letting it
Come
guide
here."
you.
Well, okay, here, maybe it's like this. It's like the cat that doesn't want to be cuddled by I'm trying to think of when you just, like, grab the cat and you're, like, pushing, and you're like, "Yeah," and it's meowing and it it's like
Yeah.
there's some resistance there. But you're like, "You're mine. I love you. I love you." I do this because 'cause I'm actually talking about what I do with my own cat. I'm like, and he's like, "Meow, meow," like, trying to get away from me, and I'm like, "No," and then he leaves, and I all of a sudden feel abandoned and rejected. Fuck, I have so much trauma. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's it's like, when Taylor, my daughter, when she was a teenager, she went through this little phase where, like, she was, like, 16 or something, and she's hanging around with and we know as parents, like, we know a bad apple when we see one. And she was hanging out with a bad apple, and I was just overbearing and, "Nope, nope, you're not hanging out with her." And I was just in her face, constantly trying to control the situation. And the more that I tried to control the situation, the more she rebelled and lied to me about things. And then there's that resistance. And then anyway, then it becomes like just ick rather than just, leaving things alone. I think for me, when things come up, I see them for what they are, I recognize that it makes me feel a certain way. I'm also
Yeah.
able to realize, and I went through this last week, when the emotion that I'm feeling, whether or not it actually matches the actual event that's happening. And
Yeah,
if it,
if you're over dramatizing it or super emotional sadness, that's a good point to make because I think us, especially as people who have been through trauma, for example, when we used to fight, me and my sister, we used to fight because we'd always be kind of on different pages and I would expect something and she would expect something. But then if we had a disagreement, it meant the relationship was over for some reason. That doesn't
Mhm.
match the incident. That's so
No,
dramatic.
I mean, yeah, no, I've done that quite a few times where so embarrassing. Actually, for the first time, like I said, and I called you actually. I called you within in real time when that was happening. I was like, "Holy shit, you won't believe what I just did." I was able to identify I was going through something. I was experiencing big emotions about it. The intensity was huge. And it did not in any means, in any way, match the actual situation that was happening, and then I realized, "Whoa, this is why am I really, Christi" and then it was only then that I realized, "Oh, these are just
Me being
wounds."
crazy.
"Okay, thank you, but I'll just say
Just
it's a
kidding.
wound."
We're both crazy too
Well, yeah,
as
you
well.
more, but I mean, I'm not keeping if we're gonna keep scarred. Yeah,
Just
well, I hope
yeah, a
that's
little
helpful to
bit in
people. I
there.
think you should just see things for just what they are and let them just pass on by.
Yeah.
Let them be a passerby of your experience. Look, and hey, we might be on the next podcast in a week from now going, fucking hell, shit, damn, talking about an experience, but we don't always
We could be
preach or
crying about it.
yeah, it might be different. But hey, it's weird. This is what we're learning. This is what I'm trying to embody every day. But I'm going to be the first to say that I have my tough days and I have my days where I'm really nailing it when it comes to my awareness and keeping what matters in check. But life is also lifing all around us. So we're
Yeah.
going through that as well.
We're only human. We can only handle so much. And if you're crazy people like we are, Just feels like you're always spiraling out of control, and then you gotta learn how to be better and then control that spiral, and then you're like, "Oh, actually, just kidding.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not crazy."
I'm I am learning and I've achieved mostly to operate out of a regulated nervous system. And I feel
Well,
like I'm not
yeah,
fully
but you have
there.
to get regulated.
But when you finally are able to like, oh, okay, I want to operate in general from a place of like ease and peace and grace and all the things, then when things that are chaotic or crazy that comes up, then you're like, holy shit, that is crazy. However,
Like
well,
dick pics from
my
your
nervous
brother.
system's super regulated and my brother can send a dick pic and I'm like, all good, man. No worries. I'm as
Have a
chill as
nice
a
day. Not the person you were trying to send that to, but better luck
yeah,
next
no,
time.
it's I think in any family system, it might be, like, cause for concern, but for I when I think that happened I didn't even text you right away when that happened. I think I, like, talked to you that night, and I was like, "Blah, blah, so and so sent a dick pic," and you're like, "Oh, yeah, welcome to the club, got one last year," and then I was like, "So anyways, what did
It's
you
like,
do today?"
"Welcome
Like,
to the
just
brother dick pic club." Dick say
yeah.
that 100 times fast. The brother dick pic club.
Oh, welcome to the brother dick okay, we don't even why are we trying to say that's we're not making that a thing. Anybody here get a dick pic from their brother? No, probably not.
No.
That's okay.
Well, I don't know. We're not the only ones in the world that have a dysfunctional family.
No. That's probably why all the listeners are here. They're like, "Why? We get it. Trust."
And they're like, "Me, I got one yesterday."
Oh my gosh, then I would
Could you
actually feel
imagine?
like we're actually not living, like, really crazy lives. Because when people say it to
I'd
me
be
and they
like,
say it
"Welcome
to
to the
you
club."
yeah. When people say, like, "Wow, wow," like, you're just like it's just because our normal is just so different. Like, look, if my son sent my daughter something like that, that would that would be very concerning. I would be very concerned as a mother thinking so I'm just saying, I think I have, like, a healthy family system and within my own
Within
minus a
yeah,
few
well, and that's what I
situations.
said to my sister. I said, "Good thing that we have our own little family unit going on, because like, that is a whole 'nother level of dysfunction that
Yeah.
we don't participate in
Okay,
anymore."
definitely not, but you know what we should do? We should write a book, like, just have, like, a little black book of the craziest things and, like, let it go on let
Oh,
it get handed on to okay, why? Why? Is that silly? Your great, 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 great grandchildren, only when they're, like, 21 would they be able to
well,
read, like, the craziest things that your great, 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 great grandparents have experienced.
little
Started
black
reading it, they'd be
book
like
that gets carried on through generations of, like, crazy dysfunctional
I don't even
family
think they probably
activities,
need to
and
know that. They probably don't even need to know that. I don't know. It's just I don't know why that came up. Like I think it's just because it's like it's wild still.
it is, and there's so many more stories just as fucked up in our family.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
But
that's not even that crazy of a
that's
story,
actually not
really.
that bad. So it's like,
Actually, that's why we're like, anyways, happy Tuesday. So what's going on?
"Welcome to the club."
100%.
"Okay, well, how was your
It's
day?"
just yeah. Well, it's also you gotta like be careful when you open that too with whoever you're around because it's my gosh. Oh my gosh. And somebody's like, "Ooh, look at you." I'm like, "No, no. No, no. This is not something." Yeah, I wanna
They're
be
like,
I'm not
"Don't you have a husband?"
this is not like that. It's not like it. It's not
They're
what you
like,
think. Trust me. They're like, "Ooh, no. No, not ew, ew." Okay, I think we're nearing an hour. We could just keep going, but we're trying to keep
"Can."
it toit toit like my butt. Toit like my butthole because I did some squats. Not my butthole, but oh,
Your
my butthole
glutes.
is tight. It should be. Just I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop.
Rewind. All right, we're
Okay.
gonna wrap up on tight buttholes,
Tight buttholes. We're wrapping up over here because we're gonna keep it toit. Toit. Okay. Happy weekend.
and we'll see you next time.